इसमें डिस्कशन नहीं होता जी।
नंबर 14 बैंकारी विधिया संशोधन विधेयक 2024 बैंकिंग लॉ अमेंडमेंट बिल 2020 सदन नियमों प्रक्रियाओं से चलता है और नियम प्रक्रिया में हमारे लोकसभा में ये है कि स्टेटमेंट के बाद कोई भी सप्लीमेंट्री प्रश्न नहीं पूछा जाता। इधर नियम ये आपके कानून बनाए हुए हैं, संसद के बनाए हुए कानून हैं। ऑनरेबल फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर।
Sir, I rise to move that the bill further to amend the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934, the Banking Regulation Act 1949, the State Bank of India Act 1955, the Banking Companies Acquisition and Transfer of Undertakings Act 1970, and the Banking Companies Acquisition and Transfer of Undertakings Act 1980 be taken into consideration.
आप कुछ बोलना चाहते हैं?
Sir, silent. I'll reply, sir.
एक मिनट। रूल 372 लोकसभा में किसी भी विषय पर अध्यक्ष की सहमति से मंत्री द्वारा वक्तव्य दिया जा सकेगा, किंतु जिस समय वक्तव्य दिया जाएगा कोई प्रश्न नहीं पूछा जाएगा। द रूल्स। आपको कोई प्रश्न पूछना है, आप क्लेरिफिकेशन करना है, आप करनी है, पर अभी सदन तो नियम प्रक्रियाओं से चलता है और सदन नियम प्रक्रियाओं से चलता है तो नियम प्रक्रिया से चलाना पड़ता है। ओके, ऑनरेबल फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर। आप नोटिस दे दीजिए, मैं देख लूंगा उसको।
Sir, in the Union Budget of 23-24, sir, it was announced, and I had read it. I like to quote, sir, to improve bank governance and enhance investors' protection. Certain amendments to the Banking Regulation Act, the Banking Companies Act, and the Reserve Bank of India Act are proposed, unquote, sir. So in order to achieve the same, amendments to the following acts are being proposed through the banking laws. So
बोलिए कौन सा रूल्स है, बताइए रूल्स।
रूल नंबर करो सर। शक्तिरन कॉल सर, माइक दे दो सर। सर शक्तिरन कॉल माइक। सर प्रैक्टिस एंड प्रोसीजर्स ऑफ द पार्लियामेंट शक्तिरन कॉल। Sir, 155 page number, leader of opposition.
No call,
sir. The process of parliamentary government is based on mutual forbearance between the opposition and the.
Sir, a total of 19 amendments are being discussed here. Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. There is one amendment which is proposed. Banking Regulation Act 1949 has 12 amendments proposed. State Bank of India Act 1955 has 2 amendments. Banking Companies and Acquisition Transfer of Undertaking Act 1970 has 2 amendments. And Banking Companies Acquisition and Transfer of Undertaking Act 1978 have 2 amendments. So of the 19 amendments that we are talking about, we are proposing through the Banking Laws Amendment Bill the 19 amendments to be brought in, and of that I would like to highlight 7 of the highlights of the 19 amendments. So these amendments to the Banking Amendments Bill of 2024 are being introduced now. It was actually introduced on the 9th of August 2024. The proposed bill, sir, seeks to improve on governance standards, provide consistency in reporting by banks to the Reserve Bank of India, ensure better protection for depositors and also for investors, improve audit quality in public sector banks, and also to increase the tenure of directors other than the chairperson and whole-time directors in cooperative banks. So in specific, if I have to highlight the 7 of the 19 amendments that are being brought in now, I will, in a sequence, talk about amendments to the Banking Regulation Act, sir. The first one in the Banking Regulation Act is to allow up to 4 nominees. Sir, this includes provisions for simultaneous and successive nominations, offering of greater flexibility and convenience for depositors and their legal heirs, especially concerning deposits, articles in safe custody, and also of safety lockers. So that is the first of the 7 amendments that I'd like to highlight. 19 amendments in total, but I'm highlighting 7. Of the 7, this is the first one. The second that I'd like to highlight, sir, is again amendment to the banking regulations, sir, which actually revises the reporting dates for the submission of statutory reports by banks to the Reserve Bank of India from reporting Friday, every Friday, to the last day of the fortnight, month or the quarter. So this change will ensure consistency in reporting, sir, and that will make it easier for even those who want to observe the Indian economy or the way in which banks follow statutory reporting. So that is the second of the 7 highlights that I want to say of the total 19 amendments that we are bringing now. So then the third of the amendments to the Banking Regulation Act is extending the tenure of the directors, excluding those of the chairman and the whole-time directors in cooperative banks from 8 years to 10 years. So then the 4th amendment to the Banking Regulation Act, there are 12 amendments only to the Banking Regulation Act, but I'm highlighting some of them. So the 4th one is the amendment to Section 5 of the Banking Regulation Act 1949, which will redefine substantial interest. The expression substantial interest is getting redefined. The threshold for shareholding of a substantial interest will be increased from 5 lakh rupees to 2 crore rupees, reflecting the present value as the same as was last fixed in 1968. The 5th of the Banking Regulation Amendment Act, sir, I already mentioned that there are total of 19 amendments that we are coming along with now, and of the 19, 12 pertain to the Banking Regulation Act. So the 5th one is amendment to subsection 3 of the section 16 of the Banking Regulation Act to allow a director of a central cooperative bank to serve on the board of a state cooperative bank. Normally, sir, in bank, when you appoint directors, they can hold the position of a director only in one institution and not in more. However, the cooperative bank structure, unless a person is elected to one layer of the cooperative, they can't get into the next layer, and as a result, they will necessarily have to hold position in more than one place. So we're making the Banking Regulation Act consistent with that provision so that they are in alignment with the cooperatives that are in banking area. Obviously, I would like to mention for clarification's sake through you, sir, to the Honorable House, that when we're touching matters related to cooperative acts, I think that's very important for me to clarify right at the beginning, that it is only the banking aspects of cooperatives, those cooperatives which are functioning as bank as well, only in their banking activity are these amendments going to come into play once the House passes it. The other activities of the cooperatives, like primary agriculture society, cooperative society, and so on, we have nothing at all to do with these amendments. They are cooperative activities, but we're looking at the banking activities. So, amendment to subsection C3 of the 16th, section 16 is for allowing a director in the Central Cooperative Bank to serve on the board of a state cooperative bank as well. Sir, the State Bank of India Act has 2 amendments. Of that, one of which I like to highlight here as an opening remark is amendment to Section 41 of the State Bank of India Act 1955 and the Section 10 of the Banking Companies Acquisition and Transfer Undertakings 1980 Act will provide public sector banks with the discretion in determining the remuneration of auditors. This measure aims to improve the quality of audits by giving banks the opportunity to attract the best talent in the market and aligning compensation with the financial capacity of the banks. So these are the proposed amendments. I've highlighted some of them. There are 19 of them. They pertain to at least 5 of the major acts, which are inclusive of Reserve Bank of India Act, Banking Regulation Act 49, State Bank of India Act 55, Banking Companies Act 1970, Banking Companies Act 78. So with these opening remarks, I submit to you, sir, that these proposed amendments will only strengthen governance in Indian banking sector, besides enhancing consumers and customer convenience with respect to nominations and protection of investors. So with that, sir, I would appeal to you that the discussion can be taken up.